Welcome to the Culture Edit. Unique perspectives into the personal and professional lives of individuals at the helm of successful business, athletics, art, and design. Welcome to the Culture Edit. Happy Election Day! I feel like that is an oxymoron in our country.
Well, I think everyone's excited that they're not going to be getting text all day, every day.
That's
Although I'm going to feel a lot less important when this is over.
Yeah.
Because the text volume has been incredible.
I guess so. I never thought of it like that. But
Well, you get a lot of text anyway.
yeah.
But I don't get a lot of text. So when I've got both sides of the aisle texting me. I got Kamala, I got JD, I got Walt, I got Elon. Elon just texted me.
Oh.
I'm on all of them.
I keep getting some weird text from like Karen at Roswell like reservoir, and it's like a video of like Karen in front of the I don't even know if there is a Roswell reservoir. It's something like that, like Peachtree Creek. And it
sounds like a John Trainer thing.
It's like her like
He lives in Roswell.
make sure you vote. It's like really weird.
Well, the creepy one yesterday was when they both text us individually our address to tell us where our polling location is.
Yeah, but I guess that's public knowledge.
I guess so, but I still don't like random numbers texting it to me.
Yeah, well.
Or like, you haven't voted yet.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
Yep, but we did our civic duty. We voted. We went to our precinct, same one that we've gone to every year same one I've gone to every year for 14 years.
Didn't it used to be that like you had to vote at a specific precinct?
Yes.
And it's not like that anymore. You can just vote
I
anywhere.
don't know. I can't keep up with it.
Because I remember in college, like I had a very specific, because I went to the wrong one,
Well,
and then they
Florida's
sent me
different.
to the right one.
Yeah, Florida's different.
Oh, it's okay.
I think it's the same here. I think you have to go to your
But
precinct.
I was talking to people at Run Club last night, and they were like, oh, I can go to this one or this one or this one. So I don't know what the rules are. But anyways, we always go to Old Trusty Rusty, which is literally an old folks home.
And there's never one time been a line.
There's never been a line.
Nothing. You just
There's
walk
a DJ.
in. There's a DJ out front.
And not DJ as in the DJ running for president, but an actual DJ making music.
Yeah. It's funny. We were both just talking about how, I think people probably wonder why we don't talk about politics more.
I don't feel like anyone wonders that.
Really? Like we never post things about
politics? I feel like everyone understands why people don't talk about politics today.
But not people I know. Everyone I know talks about politics.
In an echo chamber.
Yeah, in their echo chamber.
But people don't talk about politics to each other if they don't know 100% that they're going to agree with them.
But you and I just were talking, and we realized that we both worked in politics in college at Florida State, effectively doing very similar roles.
Yeah.
You worked in party politics. I worked for a lobbyist who's now a House of Representative. Allison Tant in Florida. It just made you realize that it was a business.
Yeah.
The whole thing's a business. I
Yeah.
delivered checks. That's what I did.
I just delivered stuff to the Senate all the time.
Yeah. And then that was, I got my degree in political science and didn't ever want anything to do with it again. Didn't never want anything to do with it again.
Yeah, I mean.
Not that, I do want to say Allison is a really good person because she plucked me out and brought me into her office, and I had no business doing the work that I was doing. So thanks, Allison.
My boss at the Senate, he got me into cycling.
That's
Before
true.
You got me into cycling.
Into triathlons. Let's
but it was my
be
first.
clear.
Let's be
clear.
Let's be clear.
Let me
Which
be
is
clear.
the favorite political line of every politician. Let me be clear.
Let me be clear.
When I hear someone say that, it actually makes me cringe.
Being a triathlete is not being a cyclist.
Yes, but anyways, I did
hot political take.
I did 2 triathlons in college, and then I hung up the bike because
on a size 58. Yeah, when I met you, you were riding a size 58. Just to give you perspective on what Nikki rides now, she rides a 49.
Well, and when we first met, you were like, "Oh, bring your bike over. I'll look at it." And I was like, "I hate riding. It's so uncomfortable. Like, it's the worst part of triathlon.
Feels so unsafe."
Because I feel unsafe. I feel like I can't control. And like because I really liked swimming, I didn't even really like running back then. So I just liked swimming. So when I moved to Atlanta, I didn't touch my bike. I didn't really run, and I joined a master swim program at Dynamo.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing when you met me.
Yeah, and so you brought the bike over, and it was a Jameis that a bike shop in Orlando had sold to you.
Which then burned down like a week after they sold it to me,
The
which
classic
was very inconvenient.
bike shop burned down. So, but
old
they
bike
sold
shop
you
burned
a
down.
58, and it had like 46 centimeter handlebars.
And what's messed up is that was my Christmas present.
Yeah, that is
Like
messed
they
up.
sold that to my parents to give to me when and I was with my parents. They put me on it and bike, quote unquote, fit me to the bike, to a 58.
Yeah, the saddle was slammed all the way down to the top tube.
I wish I had pictures of me riding that bike. I think I only have pictures of me running in the triathlons in college, but
And to give our non-cycling friends out there a perspective, so she was riding a 58. I ride a 55.
a 58 is what Michael rides.
58 is what Michael Garrison,
And
who's
he's
6'1",
6'1", and I'm
rides.
5'6" for
Yes.
reference. So
no wonder why you hate it.
I do prefer to ride a smaller bike though. Like a 49 is actually probably, like, some would say that's too small for someone that's 5'6" and a half.
Yeah.
Don't forget that little half.
Yeah,
But I like it.
yeah. You could go up a little bit. You'd probably go 51.
I have ridden a 51. That
Yeah.
was my Amira was.
Yeah.
Anyways, but it was, I don't even know why we were talking about that, but yeah,
Because your boss
Oh,
got you into triathlons.
that's right. He got me into triathlons. So,
Yeah.
and the rest is history.
Yep.
Speaking of athletic endeavors, there's a couple things we want to touch on from this past weekend. So we won't talk about politics anymore because it's stupid. We're going to talk about First Airport.
There's politics involved in First Airport.
True.
Yeah, FirstPort was this past weekend in Atlanta. National?
Wait,
International.
explain what First Airport is, because that sounds like we're just going to the airport for the first time, which is really confusing. And my dad will text me and be like, "Wait, you've been to the airport before?" Because he's not a cyclist.
So it's
explain.
it's a group ride in Atlanta. It's the largest, fastest, hardest group ride arguably in America, and it happens to happen in Atlanta. It only goes through the winter.
Objectively.
The real one only goes through the winter. There's some people that try to do it in the summer. It's stupid, but the Atlanta version has been going on for 30 plus years. Our friend Scott Hilburn was
AKA Chisel.
founder. When I first started doing it, it left from the Georgia Grill on Peachtree Road. Before that, left from Jeans. Actually did it a couple times from Jeans. It was small chainring only, and you could not get out your chainring or Chisel would throw a bottle at you. It's now turned into this giant 300 plus, participant, all ages, ranges, abilities, skills,
And the reason it's
cetera.
called airport is because it goes down past
It goes
the
past the
airport.
airport. Yeah. So it goes south into the, I guess, kind of Chattahoochee Hills area.
Okay, so First Airport.
So the first one's a big deal. A lot of people, a guy, Doug Pomerantz, also one of the elders from the old times, flew all the way in from California to go to First Airport. It's a big deal. Rashawn Bahati, cycling pro influencer, was there. I mean, Michael was there.
I was there,
You were there.
only for a short bit.
It was a big deal, and it lived up to the hype and was super fast and hard, and actually wasn't that dangerous. It was probably one of the...
Well, it was the smallest one I've seen in a while.
It was definitely the smallest FirstPort because there's a group that leaves now at 8:30.
Yeah, the secret port.
And it's amazing how those people started leaving at 8:30 and the bigger one got safer.
Well, anytime you cut numbers in half, it's gonna be safer no matter what.
Yeah, and those are people that don't want to go hard and don't want to go fast. And so when your people are going hard and fast when they don't want to, that's when it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So makes sense. But it was good. To me, it's more of like the realization that winter is here.
Winter's here. Winter's not.
Winter
yeah.
is not coming. It is here.
And then on top of that, we had serious FOMO around watching the New York Marathon, which, it's so funny is like, I mean, obviously we're more in tune with running races now that I've started running than we were previously, but it really is social media, and it's the all of these running brands just, I mean, over the past year, 2 years have just elevated their social media presence and the content they're pumping out at these races.
Yeah.
That it gives you such FOMO. You just want to be a part of it. You don't even care if you're there to race. I just wanted to be on the sidelines cheering for people because it looked like so much fun.
Who were your favorite ones?
Social media wise?
Yeah, the people that are putting out the best content. You just said.
Okay, I would say, well, it's kind of, I should say obvious to me, but not obvious to everyone. I always think that Tracksmith does a really good job. I thought Bandit they always do a great job. And then Kraft was kind of a wild card.
Yeah.
They did a really, I feel like they came out of nowhere. I mean, obviously I know what Kraft is because the only reason I know what Kraft is because I have base layers. I don't think I own any other Kraft
Traditionally
product.
a cycling brand that's gotten into running.
Yeah, and they have a really cool super shoe. Like, it's this bright orange super shoe. I don't know if it's good or not. I assume it's good. And they just kind of came out of nowhere with the running stuff. I also like the content from, like, the Take the Bridge group in New York.
Well, they partnered with Kraft. That's why it was so good.
Yeah, and then also, I didn't see this group until
But explain Take the Bridge real quick.
Well, I don't really understand it.
Neither do I.
I think it's like
I was hoping you would explain it.
I think they just like pick a random bridge and they just run through this race through the city to see who can get to like the top of the bridge first.
Yeah, but they don't have like a permit or they close the roads or anything.
They're like running through the middle of traffic. So
it's like Don Pond in Miami,
but
on bikes.
Maybe fun.
Yeah.
And then another group that I didn't know about, but it looked really fun, is the Old Man Run Club.
I don't know that.
And I think that's what it is. Like, yeah, it's like OMRC is really like the brand now because I guess I don't really call it Old Man Run Club anymore.
Should have told Richards about them.
Yeah, but it's not even old men. It's like all young people. So I'm sure there's a backstory that I did not look up behind why it's called Old Men Run Club.
There's one that's called Lost Boys. It's like that too, and it's not just.
They're like super fast though.
Yeah.
Those are like professionals.
But it's girls too.
Yeah, but the women are professionals too.
Oh, okay.
Or it seems like they're all professionals because they're running like sub 6 minute miles. So
yeah, they do good stuff too.
Yeah.
Good content.
So yeah, those were my favorite ones that I saw. What about you? Who were your favorite?
You name. I mean, I thought did a good
I
job.
didn't really see anything from them.
Oh,
I went on their algorithm.
But the rest, I think, yeah, the Kraft. The one that caught my attention was definitely the Kraft Take the Bridge collaboration.
Yeah.
They look like they're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really like. Good.
In their content, we got to see two clips of their content. Former guest of the pod, Todd Aidman.
Yeah.
Was in their content.
Was in there.
Yeah.
In the background.
Yeah. They were focused on this guy. I don't know this guy. He's a Norwegian runner that just overcame cancer, but they were following him around, and Todd happened to be running next to him the whole time.
The whole time.
Yeah. And Todd was just like looking at the guy like, why is everyone paying attention to this guy?
Did you hear the drama around how this influencer got kicked out of the New York Marathon and told he could never come back ever again because he had his friends riding bikes in the marathon to film him for content?
Wow.
And I guess one of the guys at ARC knows him really well. And so that's how I found about it, because he posted about it and was like, oh, like, onward, upward, like, it's okay. And then the guy put out this whole statement of like how sorry he is and like how stupid it was. He wasn't thinking and it put people in danger, and he's like totally regretful of it. So it was a good, like, it was one of those things where I think people get caught up in the moment of like, I need to capture content, and they think it's going to make sense. But then you're like, wait, with thousands and thousands of people,
yeah,
it doesn't really make sense.
You should just run with a Insta 360 or something.
Yeah, or just like do what every other group does, which is you capture content before and after and from the sidelines and all that. Anyways, that was the drama of the day, apparently.
Cool. Well, maybe we'll go next year. Jeff Richards did it. Had a good great run. And former guest of the pod.
Yep.
Yeah, you had a lot of friends doing it. So.
A lot of people from Atlanta Run Club. I was super jealous. It looked like a lot of fun. I did put my name in the hat for the Chicago Marathon Lottery again. Didn't get in last year or this year. Who knows if I'll get in next year, but might as well put my name in the hat. And then I'm going to try and get into New York as well. Yeah.
And we now know that you can get into New York just by knowing people. So that is true. We need to work on that. So anyone that's listening wants to get Nikki in. It's like politics.
And get a good bib.
You just got to know
number.
people. Yeah, exactly.
You got in like the A corral and didn't even have to do anything.
Yeah. No training in the A corral.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But anyway, so good weekend. And
well, speaking of athletics, feedback from last week.
So feedback, in case you all didn't notice, there was an interesting song at the end of the episode.
Well, before you even talk about that, let's talk about the just general feedback we
got. Tell us
from last week's guest. Again, Joe, thanks for coming on the pod. Lots of interest in that. A lot of new listeners. A lot of people skipping the intro to get to Joe. Okay. We noticed that. That's okay.
Our feelings aren't hurt.
Yeah, maybe you'll come back and listen to us. But yeah, just overall, a lot of people interested in that episode. And then Joe even reached out and said that after listening to it, he realized it was basically a counseling session that we were conducting with him about Rebel Rebellion and how the team's gone away.
And how fast he speaks.
And how, well, we didn't counsel him on that. He just realized that he speaks fast.
That's what I was saying. Like, he realized how fast he speaks. But the funny thing
British, though.
Is when I was listening to it, I actually thought that I like had accidentally sped him up or something. Because it sounded like it was like the Energizer Rabbit, like talking. But then I realized, no, he's just excited.
Yeah, but to speak that fast and have such good things to say means you're just really smart.
Well, you're just on top of it. Yeah.
Listen how slow I talk.
It's true.
I can barely string a sentence together.
Life is like a box of
But
chocolates.
yeah, so great feedback on that. Always young cycling professionals are a big hit on our podcast. So thanks again, Joe, for doing that. But one thing you threw a little special thing in that no one noticed except for Joe.
Yeah.
Was what?
Well, no one, and my dad.
Oh, your dad. Sorry.
My dad was like, what was that song at the end?
Yeah.
So I discovered something incredibly life-changing. Probably I won't ever be the same again after making this discovery. And
how did you discover it?
So our good friend, Todd Freiberger, who those of you who live in Atlanta and ride with our cycling team know Todd well. He is a very animated person and a very friendly person who always has ideas. And when we were talking to him this past week about actually a conference we'll talk about in a minute, he learned, I guess, I actually don't know how he learned about it, but he's
very tech savvy.
He's very tech savvy.
Even though he's a member of the greatest generation.
He is a member of the great, wait, is he?
No. He's a boomer.
almost like 1920s. Anyway, so
we'll find out if he listens.
He told me if about this technology where you can basically, or it's not ChatGPT, you can say, hey, write a song about how much I love my dog and how much I love eating strawberries and pineapples, and then it'll spit out like a really good song with like verses and chorus and all that stuff. And then there's another AI tool where you drop the text, like the song lyrics in, and you click a genre that you want, and then it generates an entire like 3-minute song.
Multiple versions
with music, with vocals.
She's in Georgia Beach with a southern smile, walking down the street. You can spot her from a mile in the city lights, all the neighborhood trees. If there's a dog around, she drops to her knees. She got a heart so big it's hard to ignore. Sees a wagging tail, she's knocking on heaven's door. Every single pup, it's like they understand. She got love to give, and she's got a plan. She calls them DILPS, dogs that like to pet. Every furry friend, yeah, you bet. From the
So with Joe, what did you do?
So with Joe, I put in like a description, ChatGPT, write me a song about a sad British guy who used to be a pro cyclist and now he's a writer.
And now he's looking for sponsors.
And now he's looking for sponsors, and he's really having a hard time finding sponsors. So he's got to like go out and meet a bunch of rich guys, but he really just wants to be racing his bike in America, and he loves writing. And that was essentially the extent of the description. Now knowing that, I want you to go back to last week.
We'll just drop a little episode. We'll drop a little.
America, he's yet to glean. So he's chasing down sponsors in tailored suits with a pitch and a promise and worn out boots. From wheels of steel to words of might, hoping some rich man sees his fight. He's got stories to tell, he's got poems to weave, and a dream of America he won't leave. From cycling star to the rider's flight, searching for hope in red, white, and blue light. London lights in the city hum, but it's New York.
And my dad was like, wait, was that song about a cyclist? Or where's that song from?
Well, and Joe loved it so much that he had us send him the whole song, the whole like 4-minute version of the song. So I don't know what he's going to do with it, but he'll do something.
I mean, hopefully create his own theme song.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was pretty life-changing because it just opens up a world of creative possibilities. And
so Nikki's creating a lot of songs now. She made a song about DILPS.
Well, imagine if you're like a poet and you've always wanted to be a songwriter, but you can't get like you have the lyrics, you just drop. That could give a lot of inspiration.
Yeah. And we stumbled upon a new, it's not fully released yet, but a new AI tool that takes your image and turns you into a cartoon.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That you're pretty excited about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, it's one of those things where I feel like AI is accelerating so insanely fast.
When I say image, I mean like a video. Like Nikki could be talking, and then
Yeah.
it turns you into a talking cartoon.
Character.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be a character.
Yeah.
When I die, I want to come back to
Yeah.
a cartoon.
Yeah, like a chicken or something.
Yeah, like most people want to be reincarnated
Yeah.
as like an actual living thing. I just want to be reincarnated as a cartoon.
Right. So yeah,
that's my
stay
life.
tuned.
What else? Oh, so speaking of the conference last week, so we went to a conference in Orlando, Florida, my hometown. But what usually happens is I go back to Orlando and I'm like, oh, Orlando, and then like after a few hours there, I'm like, oh gosh, Orlando.
A few hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just not that great. I mean, I like where I grew up is nice, but we were staying like basically on Disney proper, or we were staying on a Disney property at a hotel. And even though I do love Disney, there's no sidewalks. So this is the beef I have. This is the bone I want to pick with Disney. Why don't you have sidewalks for people to walk places? Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I woke up, I tried to go on a run.
Because they want you to be like contained in your resort, or it's like Vegas.
It's
you know?
so, yeah, but even Vegas has sidewalks.
Yeah.
But anyways, I go on a run. I got trapped. You had to come pick me up because the only way to get back was like on a 4-lane highway or backtrack all the way back, which I had just made it. I was running on the road for like 3 miles, like in the middle of the road. I couldn't go back that way because there was traffic now. And I couldn't go forward because there was no sidewalks and traffic.
Well, you thought you could go through
Disney Springs.
Springs.
But they were closed until 10 a.m.
Which closed, it's sidewalks and roads, and they just said, no, you can't come through
Yeah,
here.
there's no like gate or anything. It's just like security guards standing there.
Yeah.
They're like, you can't run through here.
And then we realized that Disney Springs is actually what?
Downtown Disney.
Downtown Disney.
Rebranded.
They rebranded.
Revamped.
Downtown Disney.
If you ever visited Disney with your kids or when you were a kid and you went to like the Lego World area, that's Downtown Disney. So now it's just rebranded Disney Springs, but Lego is still there. The original Rainforest Café is still there.
You're excited about that?
So I am definitely a big Disney. Like, I mean, I'm not a huge Disney person because I don't go back like every year or anything, but I do appreciate Disney.
You just said how much you hated it.
No, I hate that there's no sidewalks.
Okay.
As
Okay.
a runner and as an outdoor enthusiast,
Yeah.
I want sidewalks.
Okay.
Anyways, but aside from that, I do love Disney. And when I was a little kid, obviously living 10 minutes away from Disney, we spent most birthdays, holidays, all that stuff at Disney. And the one place I always wanted to go to when I was a kid was to the Rainforest Café for my birthday because it's just like a fake rainforest. With
I'd never heard of it before.
A bunch of animals. So Chad had never heard of it. And I was like, oh
We
my
were
gosh,
walking by it.
we have to go. I have to take you in here. Like, I won't subject you to the food because I'm sure it's terrible.
Yeah.
But we walked and your mind was blown.
I mean, it's definitely, they haven't updated it since probably the late 80s.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like a snapshot in time.
I felt like I hadn't left.
Like animatronic animals
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, like gorillas and toucans and all kind of
Elephants.
But I can see why a kid would be obsessed with it for
Yeah,
sure.
'cause
Because
it's
you're
like-
just sitting there and there's like a animatronic animal staring at you and blinking and moving.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I felt very nostalgic. And then, you know,
Had it changed at all from what you remembered?
No.
Nothing.
It's exactly the same as I remember.
How crazy is that?
Like even the people haven't changed that
Yeah.
work there. It's the same people. But the gift shop, they did update the toys in the gift shop because now they have, and I'm sure all the parents listening to this, you know what this is, Squishmallows.
Yeah, I didn't know what a Squishmallow was.
And I had seen them before. I knew what they were, but I had never purchased one.
Yeah.
And I really wanted a Squishmallow from Rainforest Café. Squishmallows are they're like stuffed animal pillows, but they're really, really soft and squishy.
Hence
and
the name.
Cuddly.
Yep.
Like a marshmallow. And so I got one that is an orangutan. Rob the orangutan.
But it didn't really, I mean, it's just a round animal. You can't really tell it's orangutan
Yeah,
other
you
than it's
can.
orange.
You can't tell it's orangutan. I can tell what Rob is.
Okay. So that made the trip a win.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
you-
that saved the trip. But, you know, okay, so back to the conference. It was interesting. So this was a massive, massive conference with, well, I guess not that. I thought it was massive. It had like 6,000 people, but apparently that's one of their smaller conferences.
Yeah.
And it was an HR conference, but, you know, everything is so tech focused now. Like everyone wants technology. Like every head of HR, they don't want to communicate. They want a technology platform that communicates. They don't want to.
Not every, but
Not
yes.
every head of HR, but a lot. We saw 6,000 of them.
Yeah, it's been an evolution, I think, of conferences. Like I think back to early in my career, going to conference was so much different than it is today. It is, yeah, it's every presenter, it's every vendor in the vendor fair is some type of tech platform, which aren't even that differentiated from each other. A lot of them do the exact same thing. And then a lot of them also have features that are contained within much larger platforms like Workday or some type of HRS or Oracle. So it's really bizarre. I mean, it's kind of because the intention of a conference should be to, in my mind, what they used to be, is to inspire and kind of ignite new ideas. Yeah. For you to take new ideas back to your organization and be like, from a strategy on how we recruit, like, here's what I think we should do because I heard about this great company that's doing this innovative thing. Instead of now it's just, here's the tech that I'm selling that could help you do something.
But so my question to you, because I haven't been to a lot of conferences in my life, the only reason that this is so tech heavy now, all these conferences, is because those are the companies that have money to pay for the sponsorships that make all of these conference organizations so profitable or be able to put on such a big program.
Yeah, I don't know if vendors know. I mean, I don't know if participants know that the people that are speaking to them are paying five figures.
5 or 6 figures.
5 to 6 figures.
Like
to
that
talk
tiny
for
little
that
booth
hour.
you see in the back could be like 50 grand or 100 grand or 200 grand.
Right. And then that session that you're going to, they pay. And that's the other thing that drives me crazy too, is that the individuals, or sorry, not the organizations putting on the conference aren't taking the time to think about, how am I vetting who's speaking?
Because they don't care.
They don't care. They just want the money.
They just want the money.
So it's not even good presentations. Like, that's what I was shocked by.
They don't care. And we'll get into this too. Yeah. They don't care because the people attending don't actually care.
Yes.
And that's the problem. That's the vicious cycle in which has created the super conference, mind-numbing, useless product that we're now being served up. And
because they're not going there to learn. They're not going there to innovate.
They're going there to drink martinis.
Yes.
Because that's all I saw.
A lot of people drinking martinis. A lot of people obsessed. With I thought I was going to lose an arm. Yes. Sitting at we were sitting at the bar a little bit early before the final session got out because we had a call that conflicted with the final session on the first day. So and we were waiting to meet someone for
we were waiting to meet someone. So we had a glass of wine. When that session released, it was like a stampede of animals coming out of Rainforest Café. And I almost lost an arm. A woman wanted a martini so bad, I thought she was going to hurl herself over the counter.
What did that one woman say when she was like,
oh, this was so weird. Yeah. She goes, she looks at the bartender, clearly a salesperson, because only a salesperson would say something that's 100%. Weird. She gets the bartender's attention. She's like, look, when my clients get here, buy them put whatever drink they want on this card. Me, I'm only drinking water tonight. Okay? Got it? And then she walked away, and he just
he was like, sure.
Like, okay. Yeah, that was like an unnecessary announcement.
Yeah, like, you're so much more important than all these other 1,000 people here waiting to get a drink.
It was so weird. Anyways, people were acting crazy.
Yeah, but that's why, when we talk to smart business leaders, like, we're very interested. We're like, where do you get your information? Where do you go? The smart people that we know are like, I don't go to conferences. No. And that's why it's become, and I'm only talking about this because we traditionally have not gone to conferences in years. Yeah. But this year we went to a few just to test out and see which ones are good, which ones aren't. But it's very similar. They're almost all similar, just scaled in different size. Yeah, there's just a lot of waste.
So we were struggling we left early because it's hard for us as like a small business, and within our small business, we're genuinely trying to make a difference for companies. It's really hard to sit there and watch such incredible wasteful spending at the corporate level. So it was, what was it, $3,000 per person to go?
Around that, yeah. And by the way, I will say this organization comped us. We were not paying to be there.
Yeah, we didn't pay.
They obviously want us to pay next year to come back.
That ain't happening.
But that's why we were there.
But the amount of corporate waste that we were witnessing was just so hard to swallow at where if you were paying all that money to send employees there to truly learn, it'd be a completely different story. But what I saw, there was maybe a couple sessions where people were learning some things, but for the most part, it was terrible presentations. Here's our technology platform. Buy our technology platform. Go back to your boss. Tell them to buy the technology platform. Have a good day.
Yeah.
And go get a martini.
Now, I will say there was an executive track that we didn't have access to.
Yeah.
That we were told was really good.
But majority of people aren't in that.
Vast majority of people. There's probably out of the 5,500 there's probably maybe, I don't know, a couple hundred that could go through that.
Yeah. It was just CH.
I will say we had a client that was there that we met with. She did say the second day was much better. I didn't hear from her again on the third day, but a lot of it is because the amount of sessions is kind of overwhelming too. So you're like trying to pick the right ones, and you can easily just like 2 minutes
miss
in.
one, yeah.
2 minutes in, you realize, oh wow, this is a waste of time.
One.
Yeah, this is a complete waste of time.
With someone with ADHD,
it's become such a business model for these organizations that are putting on these conferences that's what we realize is they don't care about the content.
What did conferences used to be like when they were good? Like, how did they pay for them? Were they just smaller? Like, so then they didn't need to have all these big tech companies?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they've always been paid for by, well, there's different formats. So, like, I think about one that was always pretty good, which is a smaller format, was Avanta. They were paid for by providers, but it wasn't just tech providers.
Yeah.
And their content, 100% of the content came from members. It didn't come from the providers. You could partner like a provider, right? But the members were the ones delivering, and they spent a lot. Because I was on the board of the first Avanta conference in Atlanta, and we spent a tremendous amount of time vetting and recruiting other executives to speak. Like, we knew who was doing kind of innovative stuff. We'd have calls, and we'd say, "Okay, can you speak on that?" That's not happening at these other big conferences. We
didn't see one.
And so I think it just used to be a lot more focused on peers delivering content.
Yeah.
And I think about even, I'm forgetting all the names now, but they were all different formats. And I even emceed a couple of them where, again, they were the primary focus of the content was coming from practitioners.
Yeah.
And that's a lot different, and that's a lot more valuable for you to sit there and hear the cool things that the Gap is doing when it comes to engagement and retention.
Yeah,
or, I mean, this company's doing for that. Like, that's the cool stuff that people want to hear.
And I think that's why Future of Work conference that we went to in New York earlier this year was better.
Yeah.
Because you actually
heard, smaller.
Yeah, it was a lot smaller, and you heard from real leaders at companies telling case studies, stories, and we heard some really good case studies that even gave us ideas.
Yeah.
So
there used to also be more like thought leader content that was delivered too. Like, that was the weird thing for me at this conference, a conference this big, is the keynote was just their people.
It was like talking heads.
And it wasn't like a thought leader presenting an innovative idea or a thought-provoking idea. It was just them selling their products. I think we bashed this poor conference. Yeah, we'll never get invited again. So
that's fine. We didn't say the name of it, so unless you look up the date, which was last week, then you wouldn't. But anyways, on to the next thing.
A positive thing I will say, because I feel like I need to say something positive, is I got to see a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
People that used to work with, peers, etc. So that was cool.
Yeah.
To catch up. So it is good that to be able to catch up with people.
And you got recognized as a local celebrity.
I don't know about local celebrity.
Regional celebrity.
Industry celebrity.
Yeah, we sat down for lunch, and one of the guys that we just happened to sit next to, he goes, "Did you speak at this conference like 6 years ago?"
Yeah.
And he recognized you. I thought that
I emceed the conference. That's why.
MC. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I'm here with a local celebrity. Hey.
Oh, yeah, he's kind of a big deal.
It's kind of a big deal. Locally. Oh man, I promise we have not had martinis yet. We're just extremely.
No, it's just election day. We can't wait to go home and watch people lose their minds.
I mean, I have to go on a run after this, so I'm gonna try and run the nervous energy out before we start watching the election. And
I don't have.
But are we
nervous
gonna
energy.
go to Burley's tonight?
Oh, it is jazz night.
It's jazz night.
I don't care. I mean,
the polls don't close till 7. So when does all this stuff?
I mean, to me, it's more of just watching people lose their mind is the part that I like. But
yeah, well, hopefully, yeah. I mean, I say hopefully, but people are gonna lose their mind no matter what the outcome is.
Yeah, like
depending on where you live, will determine.
It'll never be worse than than 2016. Was 2016? Yeah, 2016 when Trump won the first time. How bad people were losing their noggins.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be as bad. I don't want to talk about it because I've been stressed. Like my aura score is telling me it's like you spent 6 hours in your most stressed zone all week, like every day, all day.
You just got through saying you didn't care about it. Now you're saying you're stressed.
But I think my subconscious is stressed.
Oh, okay.
However, I did download this app that's made me stop doom scrolling in the mornings, because that's the problem is you wake up and, for whatever it is, like 5 minutes or so, you're like scrolling and all it is political stuff. And it gets you on this like really heightened level of stress early in the morning, which is, as we all know, not good for your health. I'm pretty sure it causes heart attacks. So I found this app called Headway? Yeah, Headway. And it gives you 15-minute-ish snippets of books. So
is it written or is it
either? You can
audio. You
can either read it or you can push audio and they'll read it to you.
Okay.
But you go through, you select all your preferences and it basically recommends all these different like news articles and books and tools and all that stuff. So
it's like, here's the point of this book.
And yeah, instead of doom scrolling for 15 minutes, just go on Headway and read a book about business or self-help or friendship or whatever interests you.
Do you feel like you get enough out of that to not need to buy the book? Or do you then say, okay, maybe I should buy the book?
Well, I haven't bought a book because of it yet.
Okay. So maybe you're
but I
getting all
have
you need.
saved a lot of good quotes and snippets from books. So it hasn't converted me to buy a full book yet. However, I did just start using it this week, so I can't. Haven't used it for that long yet. But I am I buy a lot of books and I will get through like half the book and then it just kind of like fizzles out for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I figured this was a little bit better of an idea.
Especially on business books. Like that's what happens on business books.
They become very redundant.
Yeah, like you buy them and then like you get it like within
I get the point.
First quarter of the book. You're like, I don't need. I can look at the chapters and get the rest of it. You know?
So this is like ChatGPT took all these books and summarized it and pulled the best points out of every single thing. And again, quotes, pulls out like highlights like a very specific meaningful quote within the books.
Yeah.
So then you're getting the nuggets that you would have highlighted anyways as you were actually reading the book. So Headway, I think it's a pretty cool app.
Huh. Maybe I'll check it out.
Not sponsored. But
I'm just looking over the bookshelf. I've got a lot of business books that we've bought.
Yeah.
There have even been recommendations from clients. We got them at home too.
Yeah.
That like just never get through.
Exactly.
But so that'd be good to know, like get that 15 minutes. Now that we've got the books, we have a library.
Yeah.
So we could get that 15 minutes and then decide whether or not to actually read the book.
Exactly. That's what
I need to get back on Audible.
I'm on it.
Oh.
But I don't.
I listen to too many podcasts. That's why I paused.
Yeah, see, I don't listen to that many podcasts, so I like my audiobooks.
Yeah.
But I mostly just listen to World War II books.
World War II books. Okay.
Which is weird, I guess. But also interesting.
Okay, so Headway.
Yes, Headway app.
That's your first recommendation?
That's my recommendation. And then...
How about another recommendation I think you have?
No, I think you have this recommendation.
You're not recommending
No,
it?
I do, but I just had it. So I recommend something, you recommend something.
So we have binged Lioness.
Yes.
On Paramount Plus. We subscribed to Paramount Plus just for this show based on a few recommendations, one of which was aforementioned Chisel. And it's we didn't realize whenever we were getting engaged in it that Taylor Sheridan wrote and produced this.
And is in it.
And is in the second season. It is so badass.
It's so good.
It's so good. I can't even compare it to anything.
It's about a secret group within, well, it's just secret group within the CIA. That's kind of redundant. It's about a female-led, female-only group within
Counter-terrorist group.
Yeah, counter-terrorist group within the CIA that are going out and
messing people
getting
up.
things done.
Yeah. And it's got Zoe
I forget her last name.
Gamora
But
from
you would know.
Yeah.
You would know.
And Nicole Kidman and
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
But we were just talking about how does Taylor Sheridan, he writes Yellowstone,
Yeah.
1883,
The motorcycle
1912.
thing.
Well, he was just in that.
Oh,
he
I
didn't
thought
write
he wrote
it.
that. Okay.
How he is able to write these shows
Yeah.
and make them so addicting
Yeah.
is insane.
And he's so jacked.
Well,
How does he have all the time to
the
work
jack
out?
thing is pretty. I don't remember him being. I mean, I guess he's always been pretty jacked, but he is so huge because he's like he's a CIA guy.
Yeah. Maybe he's on the same program that Lance is on now with his
Could be
CrossFit stuff.
There might be some peptides involved.
Back in the program.
Yeah. So I'm just so blown. It's like we both like Yellowstone, but not like crazy liked it.
Yeah.
But we both loved 1883. It's the same.
Yeah.
Like it's not exactly the same. Like
It's
you
so
just
good.
want to watch the next
So
episode.
watch Lioness
Lioness, yeah.
on Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus.
You're probably gonna have to resubscribe because we all know we're unsubscribe, all those constant toggling of the subscriptions.
So
but
our rule is you got to unsubscribe to one if you subscribe to one.
I didn't do that this time.
Oh, well, we need to get on that
Okay.
because there's a lot we don't watch.
And then one thing that I know this is a little bit far out, but for those of you that are, really into this, look forward to the perfume 2024 recommendation list. But
You're doing
you're
that
gonna have to
again?
wait a little bit. You're gonna have to wait because it's closer. It's probably gonna be in the 1st of December.
Okay.
So I'm gathering my list. I've been taking notes all year,
Check in twice.
checking it twice, trying to find out who's stinky and nice,
Stinky and nice?
stinky or nice.
Stinky or nice? Okay.
And I found
I didn't know
lot
this
of-
was going to be an annual thing. Does this mean I get to talk about my
Why not?
my Spotify best most listened
Yeah,
list
of course.
again? Okay.
Yeah, why not? People give the people what they want.
Okay.
I just got to do it earlier this year so that people can get gifts for the holidays.
Yeah. And we are going to Miami in December.
We're moving to Miami in December.
Yeah. So that's where you can find
We're
us.
very excited about it. And
Every client just decided they want to have meetings in person all the month
and
of December
off-site
now
and
that they heard that.
on-site. They'd be like, well, actually, on December 23rd, I was planning this full day on-site must-have meeting. So
It's all right. We'll still come. We'll come.
well, Chad will be there.
It's a quick flight. That's the
Just
whole.
kidding.
That's the whole point.
But yeah, also we will be gone for December. So
So our friends in Miami, we'll see you then. Looking forward to a
we're
lot
pretty
of
excited.
activities.
I feel like I'm at the point where I can almost hold my breath long enough to get there.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have a few races coming up to talk about, and then it's pretty much going into the holidays.
Well, we've got a few events. We're doing another Speed Club Rendezvous.
Yep.
In 2 weekends in the North Georgia mountains.
Yep.
So members and friends of Speed Club, we've
Look out for
organized some
content.
activities, some rides, some runs, and some cookouts. So that'll be fun. And we're trying out a new place up there. Like that's probably our favorite mountain town. So we've got that. Then you've got your
30K.
30K trail
I'm
race.
ready.
Yep.
I'm ready.
What else?
And then the Thanksgiving half marathon. Yeah, but I'll come up with some sort of song for the end of this, so stay tuned. Don't turn it off before you listen to the song. It's gonna be a good one, guarantee it.
All right.
All right, bye.
She's in Georgia Beach with a southern smile. Walking down the street, you can spot her from a mile. In the city lights, all the neighborhood trees. If there's a dog around, she drops to her knees. She got a heart so big, it's hard to ignore. Sees a wagging tail, she's knocking on heaven's door. Every single pup, it's like they understand. She got love to give, and she's got a plan. She calls them DILPS, dogs that like to pet. Every furry friend, yeah, you bet. From the big old hounds to the tiny ones, her love for dogs never comes undone. She's an Atlanta girl, she's on a quest to pet every pup she won't rest. She calls them DILPS, dogs that like to pet. Every dog she meets, her new best bet. From Midtown streets to Piedmont Park. You'll see her chasing dogs even after dark. Golden retrievers, a bulldog or two. If it's got 4 paws, she's coming for you. With a laugh so sweet and a touch so kind, she'll pet that pup, leave her worries behind. She doesn't need much, just a wag and a smile. Every dog she pets makes life worthwhile. She calls them DILPS, dogs that like to pet every furry friend. Yeah, you bet. From the big old hounds to the tiny ones, her love for dogs never comes undone. She's an Atlanta girl and she's on a quest to pet every pup, she won't rest. She calls them DILPS, dogs that like to pet every dog she meets, her new best bet. That's open and wide, with a leash and a smile. She's ready to ride through the city's hustle, through life's ups and downs. She's happiest with those 4-legged clowns. She calls them DILPS, dogs that like to pet every furry friend. Yeah, you bet. From the big old hounds to the tiny ones, her love for dogs never comes undone. She's an Atlanta girl and she's on a quest to pet every pup, she won't rest. She calls them DILPS, dogs that like to pet every dog she meets, her new best bet. So if you're in Atlanta and you see her smile with a pup by her side, stay a while. She got a love for dogs, it's easy to see. She's the DILP queen and she's living free.